Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. And today we have Prince William Weekend and Homelessness. This is a docu-series. It's only two parts, really. Each of them 46, 47 minutes long each, and it's from 2024. And it follows Prince William and a number of different people who represent organizations that are fighting homelessness in the UK, all starting with a number of different towns and cities throughout the UK, throughout England, Northern Ireland, and all around. And this is, this is one of those kind of things where you can be a little cynical, and many people are when it comes to, oh look, the guy who lives in a castle, who has part of a family that has never wanted for anything ever in their entire lives, going to tell us about how to defeat homelessness because but yeah, I have to admit that I'm a bit cynical when it comes to stuff like this. It can be seen, especially since I've watched more than my share of docu-series, or well, one docu-series and a bunch of lifetime TV movies that involved uh, uh, the other prince. Why have I already forgotten the other prince's name? Uh, Prince Harry, Prince William. This is Prince William, Prince Harry, and Meghan Markle, and you get to see the inner workings, or at least the dramatized inner workings of the royal family, and you can see that just like any other high level, high visibility political person or celebrity, a lot of the reality they project to the world is manufactured in order to make them look good. Obviously, there's a lot of spin always, involved in maintaining the goodwill of the people that would support them. Why does it matter that the people support them? Well, they are the royal family, and even though they are not meant to necessarily take a strong stand politically one way or the other, they are an incredible influence on the will of the people and the happiness of the attitudes of the people within their country. They're not alone. We have that same thing here. Trust me, you know it very well over the last 10 years, especially. Strong, loud voices tend to sway people one way or the other, or not at all, in how they make decisions and how they vote. Well, in this case, this is a man who has not been voted to anything ever. He's the future king of England, Prince William. When his father passes, and his grandmother had just passed a few years ago, and so yeah, he's young, and will he have the support of his people? Well, a good way to do this is to show that he cares about the common man and that he's willing to do things for the common man in England and the greater UK, Great Britain, because his mother, Princess Diana, was so beloved for her charity work and the reaching out that she's done throughout her unfortunately short life. He's taken on this goal in almost in tribute to her character and the things she had done as a great influence on him. The same thing with his brother, has done the same thing, even though they now live in California. But at the same time, yeah, we can see this as a little bit of propagandizing. My attitude is that, yeah, you know what, put on all the show you want, as long as you actually do. You're shaking the hands, taking the selfies, doing all that kind of stuff, speaking about certain things that about homelessness that you've never really realized, except for the times your mother would take you to certain shelters and certain things when you were young. Put on whatever show that needs to be done, and this is not just for Prince William, but for any world leader, as long as you do something. That's what matters. That's where it's going to pay off. You can do all the lip service you want, unless change is actually affected, rather than just, hey, I have a two-part series, it doesn't mean a thing. And from the looks of it, they have a thing called Homewards, sorry, the Homewards program, which he intends. Now, this is started in 2024. I don't know if it started even earlier than that. This docuseries is from 2024, but they intend to end homelessness within 5 years within England. Now, understandably, their homelessness, as horrible as it is in any place, is a fraction of what it is even in California. We have way too much homelessness, but they do have a tremendous epidemic of homelessness throughout England, and I don't imagine. I mean, if you're going to be homeless anywhere, it just sounds really strange to say this. California tends to be a great location if you like to be outdoors a lot. England, however, I imagine it's a little bit rougher. And that's one of the things, by the way, I learned from this. They called it rough sleeping. It's a sort of their own nickname for homelessness, for people who are unhoused, who are literally living on the street. It is not a simple issue, and I'm not about to give you any answers here, any more than Prince William is the one to be giving people answers himself, because he's just going to go back home to his castle or mansion or whatever, how many other houses he has, which is a criticism that many have had about his involvement in all this. He can go back to all that. But of course, there's photo ops and moments where he gets to meet a lot of people who are very excited about seeing the Prince and future King of England. When he shows up at the shelter, serving food, chatting with the people who are living this life. And also meeting people who have been served by other homeless initiatives to get people off the street and give them homes, give them dignity, give them a life that is suitable for just about any human, rather than having to live on the street. There's some people who have difficulty. Yes, there's one gentleman they interview in the first episode. I only watched the first of the two, but this one, I believe the second one, goes into more interviews and chats with people who have dealt with homelessness throughout some very young lives, and people who've been living it forever. This one, he meets with people, brings people to the castle, basically, and some of their stories are inspirational. They go from being this emaciated drug user to someone who, with the fact that they have a home that they do not want to lose, that they want to hold on to live a life that they can maintain, they are willing to make changes in their lives to make that happen. And it's never just about somebody, here's a pile of money, here is a home for free, here is food, here's all these things, and it's not just one way. Again, a lot of the people have to choose for themselves what they want, and some people have a hard time, either whether it's pride to take food or have things given to them. It all depends on the generation where they grew up, their attitude about the whole thing. And there's some people who you're always afraid that they're just going to waste it. But more often than not, there are people who just want a decent, safe, secure life with dignity. Where they can, the one guy I just mentioned, he went from, like I said, just a on-the-street drug abuser who now has reconnected with his family. He's gotten to see his grandchildren after 20 years apart from his own children. And that's something to fight for. That's something to live for. Given the opportunity, given the push in many cases to say, what do you need? Not to tell them what they need, but to ask them what they need. And part of this, what Prince William is doing, as it's depicted here, is listening to what they're doing. There's sure we can say there's a blanket answer to all this. Just throw money at it and walk away, and that's part of it. The financial inequality that we have here in America is terrifyingly bad, but we are far from the only country that lives like that. There is a very wide gap between the richest of rich and the poorest of poor. And unfortunately, there's more poor than there are rich in just about any country, regardless of their form of government and such. But in this, you get to see people, again, I'm so used to seeing homeless people on the street here in America, in California, but it's no different there. The circumstances, the location, the weather is completely different in many cases, but the need is the same. So if you're interested in seeing what people offer, what options are available, I doubt that somebody necessarily who does not have a permanent home has access to Disney Plus to get a chance to watch this. And odds are it wouldn't be a form of entertainment to be watching something like this if you're homeless. But I say if you're interested in these kind of things, these kind of organizations and opportunities that are provided, and if you know somebody who is struggling with this or potentially is struggling with this. And by the way, it's not just one type of person who is going to suffer, who is going to have to deal with homelessness. More and more people, especially with losses of jobs and losses of finances and everything else, as it gets greater and greater, more and more people will be left out on the street until we make such changes. So I didn't want to preach about any of this, but apparently I have. So this is just another documentary. It just happens to feature the future King of England in it, and hopefully, no matter what I believe, no matter what you believe, is just a glorified 2-part photo op with talking points, or if it's genuine, if it's actually genuine, if he's he and those people working with him. And again, it's not just him. It's not like he's going to go in there and start building houses. He'll show up to swing a hammer a couple times and go, this is what we're doing. And that's what he's all about. He's the one who draws the eyes, takes things seriously. Where some people would go, hey, you know what? We need to fix this. This person needs to be helped. And most people might not listen to that person who is just your average person. But the Prince of England shows up. Hey, what are we going to do about this? People listen. Usually. Sometimes. So he's doing his part, and hopefully not only will someday we just throw money at this, which is helpful, but it's also the fact that we need to listen and understand the needs of the people to prevent people from being homeless again or falling back into homelessness. There's more facets than to just say, you're on the street, get out of that tent, get into this house. Or just don't do that anymore. Get a job. That doesn't help anyone. Because nobody's circumstances are exactly the same. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 102. Didn't I just have 103 the other day? Yesterday? I don't know. Whenever I plug this in, it just restarts some of the apps. And 103, 102, 102. Oh, okay. I'm going to make sure 102, right? 102. You'll be happy to know that we do not have another documentary. Again, we have so many documentaries left, more than the other 3 categories combined, which are shorts, scripted series, and movies. We have a movie today, or tomorrow. We have a movie tomorrow, and it's an older film. It's an older Disney film. While we may have watched all of the Disney animated features, all the Pixar animated features, all the Star Wars and the Marvels, and all that other stuff that's been released so far, we still have a handful of classics. I don't know how classic this is. I kind of remember seeing this. I but my brain will not connect at this moment. We're going to be watching The Island at the Top of the World. Yeah. I've seen the graphics for it, and I've arranged them, prepared them for when this eventually became necessary to watch, chosen randomly. But I do not know, I do not recall what it's all about. It probably takes place in the Arctic. On an island at the top of the world is what we're watching next in the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.